Good evening, Belize. It's Monday and you're watching News 5. I'm Sabrina Daly and here's what's making headlines tonight. A wave of outrage is sweeping across Belize. Shocking allegations against a Bullet Tree Falls teacher are fueling urgent demands for a sex offenders registry. For many Belizean families, motorcycles are not a choice, they're a necessity. But outside schools each afternoon, that reality is colliding with a growing safety risk. Small children clinging to riders, often without helmets, turning the ride home into a dangerous gamble. At just 28 years old, Jada Sutherland is helping steer change in Belize's maritime industry, part of a quiet but powerful shift as more women take the helm. In Placencia, Seaboard Holdings is under scrutiny for violating its dredging permit, now facing uncertain consequences from the government of Belize. And in Bella Vista Village, a Sunday morning fire has left an elderly woman and her family with nothing but the clothes on their backs. These stories and more are coming up in 60 seconds. Stay with us. News 5 starts now.
Our story was built by people, neighbors helping neighbors, standing side by side with those who trust us to protect what matters most and help build our communities. Being there when needed most. Across borders, across generations. Still growing, still giving, still just getting started. After 185 years.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Welcome back. A wave of outrage is sweeping across Belize tonight as one case forces a long-simmering issue into the spotlight. The shocking allegations against a Bullet Tree Falls teacher have ignited urgent demands for a national sex offenders registry, with many asking, how are children being protected in the very spaces meant to keep them safe? The Office of the Special Envoy is now amplifying those calls, pushing for stronger safeguards and accountability within schools and other trusted institutions. For many, this is no longer just a conversation. It's a call to act. Brittany Gordon has the story.
What happens when those meant to protect children abuse that trust? Across Belize, cases are rising, and they're happening in homes, schools, and other places meant to be safe. The latest involves 41-year-old Santa Elena teacher Elena, now charged with 4 counts of assault and 2 counts of rape after a student's report. His arrest has raised serious questions about child safety and oversight. In response, the Office of the Special Envoy is pushing for a national sex offenders registry, a move backed by the Ministry of Human Development, as officials warn reports of abuse are climbing.
We do note that there is an uptick in reported sexual crimes against children. We have seen an increase in reported cases, so our in-house database does record that there are more cases reported to us each year. So we are excited and we're ready to work or collaborate with our partner agencies, including the Office of the Special Envoy and the Ministry of Home Affairs, to make sure that the sex offender registry is operational.
One of the first lessons taught to many children is stranger danger. However, they are also taught that they can rely on certain trusted adults to protect them, such as teachers, healthcare workers, and police officers. Earlier this month, suspended police officer Dexter Diego was back behind bars after being charged with 4 counts of child rape involving a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old in incidents spanning 2024 and 2025. The charges follow earlier allegations involving a 14-year-old, pointing to a troubling pattern. Advocates say stronger public accountability, including a registry, could help break it.
I cannot understand how someone would look at a child, without saying any name, but children as young as 4 years old. We have to make sure that we treat their people in a different kind of way. We cannot tolerate the abuse of children from anybody, and be it male or female. I think that I fully support her call. I think that if you are convicted of something like that, then the public should know who you are.
Another case that made headlines this year was that of San Pedro educator, 47-year-old Alex Norales. In January, Norales was found guilty on 2 of 3 counts of sexual assault and is still fighting to remain out of prison while he challenges the verdict. Similar claims have surfaced before. In 2025, teacher and former UDP Senator Macario Coy faced allegations of sexual misconduct. Although he was later cleared, cases like these continue to raise concerns about how often teachers are accused and how vulnerable students remain.
What we know historically and from research is that people who have a tendency to be sex offenders seek out professions in which they will have access to children and people who can become their victims. And so it's in the professions that are supposed to be helpful, like teaching professions, health professions, other professions, civil society, where we might see people gain access to children or those who become their victims.
Advocates say Belize needs a sex offenders registry now, warning that repeat offenders continue to pose serious risk. They argue a centralized database would give authorities and eventually the public the information needed to prevent abuse and better protect vulnerable groups. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
Belize is taking a quiet but powerful step to change how justice is delivered for survivors of sexual abuse. Newly approved amendments to the criminal code are set to change the courtroom experience, especially for children, by allowing sensitive testimony to happen behind closed doors. The goal is to protect victims from fear, pressure, and public scrutiny so they can speak freely. Officials believe this could lead to stronger cases against offenders and higher conviction rates. CEO Adele Katsim-Sanchez says the changes are about more than procedure. They're about giving victims the confidence and support they need to come forward and be heard.
The sex offenders registry is of convicted sex offenders, right? And not just those who are arrested or alleged to be offenders. One of the things that happens in court proceedings is that sometimes the children get re-traumatized or re-victimized by having their privacy being and all the issues that they face being exposed to the general public. And our ministry has an obligation to protect the privacy of these children while at the same time ensuring that they get justice for the crimes perpetrated against them. And so in order to try to increase the rate of not just reporting sex offenses against children, but also taking the cases through the court system to enable justice, we feel that a key aspect of that is making sure that these cases are held in camera so that the children can be more comfortable giving their testimony in their cases. So Our ministry has been happy that we have the support of Cabinet and we have the support of the Attorney General's ministry to make sure that this amendment goes through. It will be tabled in Parliament in June, and it will go through the parliamentary process.
The ministry is also working to deliver justice to victims of sex offenses with the newly introduced Families Bill, which seeks to strengthen child protection by requiring that cases involving minors be resolved within a set time frame. Advocates argue that delays in the court system prolong children's trauma and deny them closure, and maintain that by mandating quicker disposal of child protection cases, justice can be delivered more efficiently and increase convictions in sex offense cases. For many Belizean families, motorcycles aren't a choice, they're a necessity. But outside schools each afternoon, that reality is colliding with a growing safety risk. Small children cling to riders, often without helmets, sometimes crammed between passengers, turning a routine trip home into a dangerous gamble. It's a scene playing out daily across the country, and one that experts warn could end in tragedy. Shane Williams takes a closer look.
Each afternoon, school gates across the country turn into a rush hour scramble, with parents hurrying to pick up their kids. In the middle of it all, motorcycles weave through traffic, many carrying young children home. It's a common sight, but officers say it's also a risky one. Without proper safety gear, especially helmets, those short trips can quickly turn dangerous for young passengers. Some children are seated in front of the driver, some holding on at the back, and some not wearing helmets any at all. Officers say that if a crash happens, these children face the greatest risk on the road.
Sometimes you see these motorcycle riders taking along a child with an uncertified helmet, a helmet that cannot save their lives, with their feet stuck out because they cannot even reach the foot stand for the pillion rider on the bike. And so these are things that we have to look closely at.
Authorities say the problem is not limited to helmet use. Officers also point to overloading and unsafe positioning of children as major hazards on Belize's busy roadways. Belize City Traffic Enforcement Manager Mauricio Gonzalez says it is something they see every day.
It's an education process so that they understand that, you know what, you're risking your family, you're risking your own family's lives, even if they all have on a helmet. I mean, with the control of a motorcycle comes with balance, and that's the reason why they have the passenger limit set. So with additional passengers, then it brings the opportunity for the driver to lose control. But it does pose a challenge to us. It's something that we see every morning and something that we continue to educate the residents of Belize City about.
Traffic officers often find themselves in a battle between strict enforcement and socio-economic empathy.
For me, it's always eye-opening. I know motorcycle users may say this is an economic way for me to travel to and from work, to and from school, but we at the Department of Transport have to look at the safety of all persons using those motorcycles.
For many parents, motorcycles are simply the most affordable transportation available, but officers say convenience cannot outweigh safety, particularly when children are involved.
If there's accessibility to shuttle runs or public transportation that may be able to take them to and from as well, try our utmost best to use those modes of transportation.
And when you see these types of practices, three children on a motorcycle, a parent, a child in between, I mean, it brings out a fear in all of us. I mean, what are they thinking? What are they doing? I mean, that's the thought running through our head.
While motorcycles remain one of the most affordable ways to travel, when it comes to transporting children, many argue that safety should always be the only priority. From the busy streets of Belize City, reporting for News 5, I'm Shane Williams.
Even as traffic deaths decline, one danger refuses to ease up: motorcycle crashes. Riders continue to account for nearly 40% of fatal accidents on Belize's roads, making them the most at-risk group behind the wheel. The push for mandatory rider training may have stalled, but the crashes haven't. Now, transport officials are zeroing in on a simpler fix that could save lives: helmets. Chief Transport Officer Leon Gentle says new rules are coming to ensure riders not only wear helmets, but wear them properly in a bid to cut deadly head injuries.
I know that we have been discussing the idea of the reform for motorcycles in Belize and its legislations. One of the closer legislation that you will be that we are intending to improve on is actually the helmet standards. That will see an increase in the safety level, because we're hoping that, based on data that we've collected in terms of fatalities, majority of those are caused by hits to the head. And so we are looking closely at the safety element of improving the standards as it relates to the helmet. As you may know, in Belize it's mandatory for you to use a helmet, but it did not determine what type of helmet. So you see all kinds of helmets being used on a motorcycle, some bicycle helmets, some half helmets. And so we're looking closely at the standards for helmets to be used on motorcycles. And so these are things that we have to look closely at, and as well as looking at actually training for these riders. We continue to emphasize from the Department of Transport and by wider the ministry. CO Williams has been adamant that this is something that is necessary for safety in the country as it relates to motorcycles, that we have training for persons who intend to ride these cycles.
Representatives of the Transport Department recently attended a conference hosted by the Pan American Health Organizations, where officials from around the world discussed ways to improve motorcycle safety. After the break, gunfire erupts in Santa Elena, and police found a man gasping for air, shell casings scattered. What led to this deadly chaos? Stay with us.
Belize's economy perform in 2025, and what is the outlook for 2026? Belize's economy is estimated to have grown by 2.7% in 2025, following a strong post-pandemic recovery. However, growth is expected to moderate to 2% in 2026 due to global challenges, including the conflict in the Middle East. Disruptions in oil and gas supplies have pushed up global energy prices, increasing the cost of imported fuels. Higher fuel prices will lead to higher costs for transportation, food, and other goods and services. As a result, inflation is projected to rise to 3.5% in 2026, up from 1.1% in 2025. Amid these pressures, Belize's financial system remains strong and well capitalized. In 2025, domestic banks recorded a capital adequacy ratio of 17.9%, doubling the 9% minimum requirement. These high capital buffers are meant to absorb potential losses. In addition, the central bank's international reserves grew to $1.1 billion in 2025, strengthening Belize's ability to make external payments for essential imports and debt. For more details, visit centralbank.org.bz and read our latest annual report and upcoming public information notice. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Over the past 5 years, Digi has invested more than $17 million to revolutionize Belize's digital future. Our advanced 4G LTE network and expanded fiber infrastructure have empowered vital road arteries, connected the farthest valleys and fertile farmlands, linked the bustling cities to the remote keys, and brought cutting-edge connectivity to schools, businesses, healthcare centers, and tourist destinations, fueling economic growth, enhancing education, and strengthening communities across the nation. By choosing Digi, you're leading Belize's digital transformation, bridging distances, opening opportunities, and empowering every corner of our beautiful country. Connect with Digi. Empower Belize.
Nokshe Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism, so we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from them it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have like the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank just make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Get ready, Dangriga. Something big is coming your way. Open your eyes, Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open your eyes, Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
Life is full of precious moments we're cherishing, moments that shape our present and lay the foundation for our future. But amidst life's beautiful tapestry, there are uncertainties we must confront. How do we secure today while protecting tomorrow? Introducing RF&G Life Insurance, your partner in safeguarding what matters most. With a RF&G Life Insurance plan, you can ensure financial security for your loved ones, providing them with a safety net for the future. From identifying and recommending plans suitable for your unique needs to expert advice every step of the way, RF&G Life Insurance is committed to protecting your family's legacy. Choose RF&G Life Insurance for peace of mind you can rely on. RF&G Life Insurance, securing today, protecting tomorrow. Your life, your legacy.
San Ignacio police are piecing together the final moments of a chaotic scene that turned deadly in Santa Elena on May 16th. Investigators say they responded to reports of gunfire in the Hillview area and found expended shells scattered nearby and a man struggling to breathe. That man, later identified as Joel Sierra, was rushed to the hospital after officers also recovered a 9mm pistol at the scene. But this case took a troubling turn. Video circulating online shows Sierra firing shots into the air. Police say early indications suggest he may have been under the influence of a prohibited substance. Hours later, Sierra was dead. Now investigators are working to determine exactly what caused the gunfire and what ultimately led to his death.
On 16th May, Saturday 16th May 2026, at around 11:21 a.m., San Ignacio police received information of a shooting incident in the Hillview area of Santa Elena town. The officers proceeded where they met with a male person who was in a hyperventilated state, and they also observed a number of expended shells. And a further search of the area where this individual was found, they recovered a 9mm pistol. The male person was escorted to the hospital where preliminary indications suggest that he was under the influence of prohibited substance. The male person passed away sometime around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday, and a post-mortem examination is pending to ascertain the cause of death. A further check of the area, video footage in the area, showed the male person, who has since been identified as Joel Sierra, running along the street with a firearm in his hand and discharging rounds into the air.
A post-mortem examination is pending to determine the official cause of death. Authorities note Sierra was a known figure with a criminal history, including a prison escape. 2 young men are behind bars tonight after a police stop in Belmopan led to the discovery of illegal weapons and ammunition. Officers intercepted the vehicle and uncovered the stash, resulting in immediate charges. Cameron Adolphus and Vaughn Kulzak now face multiple firearm and ammunition offenses. Adolphus has pleaded guilty while Kulzak is fighting the charges, but both have been remanded to the Belize Central Prison. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacey Smith has more on the arrest.
Police have formally arrested and jointly charged 23-year-old Cameron Adolphus of Barrelboom Village and Vaughn Kulzak, 20 years of age, of Roaring Creek Village for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license, 1 count of kept ammunition without a gun license, and 1 count of kept prohibited ammunition. These charges follow a police operation which was carried out on Friday, 15 May 2026 around 8:30 a.m. in Belmopan City, where a vehicle which they were on board was intercepted, and a search of that vehicle led to the discovery of a 9mm Beretta pistol, 28 live rounds of 7.62 caliber ammunition, 15 live rounds of .22 caliber ammunition, and 8 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. Adolphus has since pleaded guilty and Kulzak not guilty. Both individuals, however, have since been remanded to the Belize Central Prison, where Adolphus awaits sentencing and Kulzak further court appearance.
The Belize Police Department will continue to invest in intelligence and other surveillance operations to efficiently detect and intercept these unlicensed weapons. Meanwhile, police operations continue to yield results in the fight against illegal weapons. Following the arrest of Cameron Adolphus and Vaughn Kulzak in Belmopan, authorities have also detained Belize City resident Thomas Ferguson. ASP Stacey Smith confirmed that Ferguson was formally charged with kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition with a gun license without a gun license, that is, after officers conducted a search at his residence on Electric Avenue.
Police attached to the Gang Intelligence Investigation and Interdiction Unit GI3 have formally arrested and charged 34-year-old Thomas Ferguson of Electric Avenue, Belize City, for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. This arrest follows an SOE sanction operation in a declared area which was carried out by that team at the residence of Ferguson, which led to the discovery of a black in color 9mm pistol which contained 15 live rounds of 9mm ammunition.
Police maintain that this latest arrest is a result of the department's increased crackdown on unlicensed firearm, as specialized units intensify operations to remove illegal weapons from across Belize. Police are also cracking down on illicit drugs, resulting in a recent bust in Orange Walk. Officers formally arrested and jointly charged 3 individuals for possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. Those charges stem from a search of their residence, where police discovered 12 grams of crack cocaine.
Police have formally arrested and jointly charged 41-year-old Arturo O, 39-year-old Elena Angeles, and 29-year-old Gilda Guardado, all of San Jose Village, Orange Walk, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply to another, more commonly known as drug trafficking. These charges followed police operation at their residence, which resulted in the discovery of 12 grams of crack.
Authorities say the arrests are a part of ongoing efforts to dismantle criminal activity across multiple fronts, from firearms to narcotics, as police intensify operations nationwide. Still ahead, Belize takes on a bold step on migration. Leaders and international partners come together in Belmopan to shape a policy that could redefine the country's future. But first, here's the weather forecast from the National Meteorological Service.
Prepare for the heat and stay cool with the Reamer Gree air conditioning unit from Benny's. Choose the right BTU unit size for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save money with an inverter unit that is energy efficient. When the heat is on, stay cool and comfortable with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Ream or Gree. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
In Belize, change is taking shape every day. It all starts with Game Changers. Investing in modern transport, better health infrastructure, renewable power for all, digital transformation, and more opportunities for a brighter future, the European Union's Global Gateway Initiative is unlocking new potential. Game Changers are bringing this to life. Game Changers, empowering the future. Follow the EU in Belize to meet the Game Changers.
This Mother's May, celebrate the woman who makes the house feel like home all month long. Great deals like 15% off bathroom and kitchen fixtures from Moen, Hansgrohe, and Duraflow. Plus 15% off Hispasensa tiles, Stormguard windows, and 40% off Sunlight windows. And 15% off Berger paints and huge savings on clearance colors. So come in to Habet and Abet or Brothers Abet, call us or WhatsApp us today and make this Mother's May one to remember. Happy Mother's Day to all marvelous moms.
At just 28 years old, Jada Sutherland is helping to steer a shift in Belize's maritime industry, one that is opening doors for more women to take the helm. There's a quiet shift happening in the maritime industry, and women like Sutherland are steering it. As president of the Women in Maritime Association of the Caribbean, WEMAC, Belize chapter, Sutherland stood alongside fellow industry leaders today, pushing a conversation that's long overdue. How to break barriers in a field still largely dominated by men. For them, it's not just about getting more women into maritime careers. It's about keeping them there, elevating them, and changing the industry from within.
Men who have been in the industry for over 30 years have looked at me and asked, how is it even possible that you are my captain? Like, they're brave like that.
While veteran captain Monique Lam captivated the room with stories from her trailblazing journey at sea, another woman stood nearby, quietly charting her own course. At just 28, Jada Sutherland is carrying the momentum of Lam's legacy forward and pushing for more women to find their place in the maritime industry. At the Women in Maritime Summit, Sutherland expressed her readiness to push women forward in a male-dominated industry.
I did not study anything that had to do with maritime. I started out with literature at the SJSC, so totally unrelated to my current profession right now.
Jada Sutherland leads the Projects and Quality Unit at the Belize Port Authority and also serves as president of the Women in Maritime Association Belize chapter. She works in a male-dominated field under Ports Commissioner Kaylon Young.
Having more people involved, more women involved, it gives a different dynamic to how we see things, a different point of view to how we see things. We might see things differently. Males might see things differently from how females might see, our way of management or way of operations.
Life will bring challenges, rough seas, moment of uncertainty, but those moments are not there to break you.
WIMAC leads advocacy and networking for women in maritime, where they remain vastly underrepresented. Globally, women make up about 1% of seafarers. In the Caribbean, More work ashore, 63% in the private sector and 19% in maritime authorities, while just 1 to 2% hold seagoing roles operating vessels.
The power of a woman's voice, it's becoming heavier and heavier in the sense that, women previously had joined the sector and we were very quiet in terms of not being, in the forefront of all of it. And now we've been trying to push ourselves. We've been trying to get into leadership. We've been trying to get a seat at the table, especially. That's very important for me, and that's something that I always promote as well. Try to make sure that you have a seat at the table where the decisions are actually being made.
Today, at such a young age with only 4 years of experience in the sector, Sutherland has created a seat at the table alongside her WIMAC executive. At today's event, association members cast themselves as change makers, determined to break barriers in a male-dominated industry.
Some ask, do you know how to fix an engine or check the oil? Are you afraid to navigate at night?
For me, I really jumped into it with the mindset that, us females, anything a man can do, we can also do sometimes better.
From studying literature in junior college, today Sutherland is pursuing a master's degree in logistics and supply chain management. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Belize is taking a major step toward formally managing migration, not as a challenge, but as a key part of national development. Today, government officials, international partners, and stakeholders gathered in Belmopan to launch the country's first ever migration and development policy consultation process. The week-long discussion will help shape a comprehensive framework aimed at addressing migration through the lenses of national security, labor, and social services, laying the groundwork for a policy that has been nearly a decade in the making. Here's more from today's event.
It is my honor to stand before you today as we open this first national stakeholder consultation on the Belize Migration and Development Policy, a milestone that our ministry, our government, and this country have been working toward for almost a decade. I want to begin with something simple but important. Migration is not a problem to be solved. Migration is a reality to be governed wisely, humanely, and strategically. And for too long, Belize has been navigating that reality without a comprehensive national policy to guide us.
Migration can no longer be considered just a border issue. It is a labor issue, health issue, an education issue, a demographic issue, and a national development issue. The development of a migration and development policy is Belize's formal recognition of this reality.
This launch marks the beginning of a week-long series of consultations running from across Belmopan, Belize City, Bella Vista, and San Pedro. A major ruling from the Caribbean Court of Justice is shaking up a high-profile extradition fight involving Belizean attorney Andrew Bennett. The CCJ overturned earlier decisions after finding they relied on a law that wasn't even enforced when key WhatsApp evidence was collected. Those messages are central to U.S. efforts to extradite Bennett on money laundering charges, claims he denies. The court stopped short of ruling on whether the messages are constitutional, saying the arguments weren't fully tested. Instead, it sent the case back to the High Court for a fresh hearing, setting the stage for a deeper legal showdown over digital privacy and constitutional rights. Attorney Hector Guerra says the ruling is a clear reminder that the protection of citizens' rights must come first.
At the CCJ, we launched a wider abuse of process argument. We said that if you want to extradite a citizen of our country, you must do so within the parameters of the law, so that it is properly grounded and so that you don't abuse the rights of citizens. You don't do away with the constitutional protections to privacy. You don't do away with the constitutional protection against arbitrary search and seizure, because that's what this really amounts to. We live in a digital age where we engage with WhatsApp, we engage with Messenger, we share our private information on these platforms, and there must be, if we're to safeguard our citizens, there must be a legitimate right of every citizen to say, well, I'm doing this and I expect some level of privacy to be attached to that communication. At the CCJ, it was revealed that the Interception of Communication Act, on which the High Court and the Court of Appeal relied upon, had not been brought into effect. That meant that the High Court and the Court of Appeal would have fell into error when they issued their decision, because it was based on a law that was not in effect. There are still constitutional issues without the Interception of Communication Act, because even without that act, our common law says that you can only intercept communication with judicial oversight. But the CCJ ultimately found that while that may be the case, you have to go down back to the High Court to properly advance those arguments.
Attorney Guerra says his legal team are deliberating fresh arguments on behalf of Bennett, including entrapment. No official date has been set for the hearing as yet. Coming up, young talent takes center stage. The Bliss comes alive as Belize's brightest primary school artists bring color, culture, and creativity to life.
Access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Insurance fact. Did you know Home Protector Insurance provides liability insurance that is for licensing? Public liability insurance for the hotels and guest houses protects the guests staying at the resort. Tour operators insurance for on-site tourists and marine passenger liability for passengers. You take care of your guests, we'll take care of you. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
Need a fresh new kitchen, flip that switch ignition. GE appliances shine. Every knob, every line, all align and turn the shower on. Feel gold, colder in the chrome. So bold from the tiles to the tiny screws. We've got the wow you choose. All in one place, Design Depot. Everything you need for the life you want. Let's go. From the floor to the paint to the patio glow. Build it up, light it up. Watch your dream home grow. All in one place. All in one place. All in one place. All in one place. All in one place.
Design Depot. All in one place.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
A week after dredging along the Placencia Peninsula sparked national attention, the conversation isn't slowing down. Tonight, the Placencia Village Council is stepping back into the spotlight, this time with new questions and renewed concern about what's really happening offshore and who's being held accountable. And the mining unit is responding. For some context, on March 16, 2026, the Department of Environment issued environmental clearance to Mark Espat, the director of Seaboard Holdings, to extract 4,500 cubic yards of sand from the lagoon to reclaim eroded beach along 3 parcels and build a rock wall. Just over a month later, on April 22nd, the mining unit stepped in and granted a quarry permit to Albert Lowen for Seaboard Holdings Limited, valid until the end of the year and valued at $650. As we reported, the developer breached permit conditions, something Inspector of Mines Michelle Alvarez confirmed today. She says a fine is coming, but officials haven't set the amount yet, and penalties for these violations are often minimal. Alvarez also confirmed that the mining unit did not authorize the construction of the road in the lagoon and that it has now been entirely removed. The Inspector of Mines also revealed that the dredge material exceeding the permitted 4,500 cubic yards will be donated to the community, along with an additional 5% of the dredge material. There are also questions being raised about the small fee of $650 associated with acquiring a dredging permit. The Inspector of Mines says that while she also takes issue with the small fee, it is a schedule in legislation and not mandated by the unit. Alvarez emphasized that the developer followed due process to receive environmental clearance and the mining permit, though the permit was later violated. It's worth noting that Mark Espat serves as Belize's economic ambassador. A Sunday morning fire has left an elderly woman and her family with nothing but the clothes on their backs. The blaze tore through their Bella Vista home just before 6 a.m., forcing them to escape in a matter of moments. One resident tells police she woke to unusual sounds, only to find flames already raging in an attached warehouse. The family got out safely, but the fire destroyed their home and everything inside. Authorities are now investigating the cause. We spoke with a relative who recounted the frightening ordeal.
They were asleep when Sarai Pineda heard something cracking. And actually, we know the weather in Belize right now it's really hot, but then it was really hot at the moment, more hotter than it usually is. So because of the heat of the fire, right? When she woke up and she noticed the fire was already in the middle of the house, the only thing my sister thought in the moment was to take out my mother and my 8-year-old niece outside. The fire, at the moment we know that the fire started at the front part of the house, where was my sister room, my sister and my brother-in-law room, and the business, because my mother was a home furniture businesswoman, also a Facebook Live seller, clothing seller. At the moment, as you can notice, they lost everything. They lost personal documents, clothing, all kind of stuff, even her business. We can notice that villagers in Bella Vista are the one helping right now with water, with food.
The Bella Vista Village Council issued a call for assistance to the family, including requests for clothing, mattresses, food, and household items. The number to call is 673-0116. Belize City is alive with color, talent, and youthful creativity as the Primary School Festival of Arts gets underway at the Bliss Center. The week-long celebration opened with a vibrant showcase from the Belize District, featuring back-to-back performances and the launch of a national visual arts exhibit displaying 50 student pieces from across the country. From stage performances to literary expression, the festival highlights a wide range of artistic talent. Director of the Institute of Creative Arts, Kim Vasquez, shares more on the excitement.
The Festival of Arts aims to be as inclusive as possible and as rounded in all the disciplines of the arts. So this means that we want to have participation in the performing arts, but also it's very important that the visual arts is included. And so we have 50 pieces of artwork up here in the Bilal Gallery, submitted from across the country as well. We put out an open call. And then we launch a national exhibit showcasing the primary and secondary artwork. And also this morning we had the second publication, literary arts publication. This is something that we revived only last year. The literary arts were absent for close to 30 years, missing from the Festival of Arts. This is your short stories and your poetry. And we have a beautiful publication out. This was done with the assistance of Saidi Moore and the Art Shack in Belmopan, who did the layout for us and came in as a partner. And it's, again, contributions from students across the country, writing their short stories, their poems, and we are really excited to be able to put together this publication. We have a limited print, but the wonderful thing is that it will be up on the 501 Academy, and you can download a copy and read these wonderful stories and poems from the students.
Organizers say the celebrations will continue with performances in San Pedro and Kikaker and will culminate next week with the return of the Golden Nights. Evening showcases highlighting the best of the best from across the districts. Up next, a look at weekend sports with Shane Williams.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100 key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
summer, the nation's top young athletes come together for Super Nationals 2026. From June 22nd to June 23rd, Primary School Super Nationals. And from June 29th to July 3rd, High School Super Nationals. 6 districts, 4 sports, 1 stage. Football, basketball, volleyball, kids athletics, and athletics. Belize's future champions competing for pride, glory, and the chance to be seen. This is more than a tournament. This is the future of Belizean sports. Super Nationals 2026, where champions ride.
How did Belize's economy perform in 2025? And what is the outlook for 2026? Belize's economy is estimated to have grown by 2.7% in 2025, following a strong post-pandemic recovery. However, growth is expected to moderate to 2% in 2026 due to global challenges, including the conflict in the Middle East. Disruptions in oil and gas supplies have pushed up global energy prices, increasing the cost of imported fuels. Higher fuel prices will lead to higher costs for transportation, food, and other goods and services. As a result, inflation is projected to rise to 3.5% in 2026, up from 1.1% in 2025. Amid these pressures, Belize's financial system remains strong and well capitalized. In 2025, domestic banks recorded a capital adequacy ratio of 17.9%, doubling the 9% minimum requirement. These high capital buffers are meant to absorb potential losses. In addition, the central bank's international reserves grew to $1.1 billion in 2025, strengthening Belize's ability to make external payments for essential imports and debt. For more details, visit centralbank.org.bz and read our latest annual report and upcoming public information notice. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Over the past 5 years, Digi has invested more than $17 million to revolutionize Belize's digital future. Our advanced 4G LTE network and expanded fiber infrastructure have empowered vital road arteries, connected the farthest valleys and fertile farmlands, linked the bustling cities to the remote keys, and brought cutting-edge connectivity to schools, businesses, healthcare centers, and tourist destinations, fueling economic growth, enhancing education, and strengthening communities across the nation. By choosing Digi, you're leading Belize's digital transformation, bridging distances, opening opportunities, and empowering every corner of our beautiful country. Connect with Digi. Empower Belize.
Nokshe Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism. So we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from then it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank just make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Get ready, Dangriga. Something big is coming your way. Open your eyes. Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open your eyes Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
It is brought to you by the National Sports Council of Belize. Good evening, Belize. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this special edition of Sports Monday, as we transition from focusing on scores and highlights to showcasing individuals and programs that are making life-altering impact through sports. Tonight, we begin with volleyball athletes trying to make the Belize City team for Super Nationals. Inside the Belize Elementary School gym on Sunday, the energy was intense. Dozens of young volleyball players battled through drills, diving for loose balls and fighting for a chance to represent Belize City at the upcoming Super Nationals. But for many of these athletes, making the team is about far more than winning games. It is about creating opportunities that could one day change their lives. The National Sports Council says its goal is clear. Super Nationals will give top student athletes a national stage to perform in front of university scouts. And if there is one sport Belize can already point to as proof that the model works, it is volleyball.
If we have to go past the pole, no problem. Just hit on the inside between the two antennas. We had one or two players who did it on their own. Like they went, they applied, they sent their videos. And then BK came along, and BK they put an emphasis on that. Brighton and Karim, who were top of the top players in our country, tall players over 6'5", and they saw an opportunity, so they decided that they wanted to pass that on. So that's where it actually started, and it's starting to snowball. Now you see more and more coaches just contacting Belize on a whole for players because they see Belize players excelling.
Now, the hope is that Super Nationals can create a structured pipeline for other sports in Belize to draw international scouting attention.
I support this initiative fully. I think this is great for sport, and we need it to continue. What I'm hoping for next year is that if we really want to bring coaches to see the best of the best, because for various reasons I mentioned before, they'll see most of the best, but not always the best of the best, and not in the best form. Because we need to train for a longer time. We need to have more matches over a longer time so that the players are in an elite state of when they're playing.
For the young athletes on the court like 15-year-old Myra Budd, the opportunity to perform in front of scouts brings their dreams a little closer to reality.
I mostly plan to play college volleyball because I'm graduating high school next year, so that's my goal. So when I graduate, I would want to go to America and get a scholarship. It will make me feel proud about myself and mostly about my country.
16-year-old Adrian Courtney is a setter with extremely soft and accurate touch, already standing at 6 feet 2 inches tall.
I would like to go abroad, national, play for college, and just become one of the best that I could be.
What would that mean for you if you get the opportunity to get a scholarship?
It would mean a lot. I'll be proud of myself. I know my family will be proud of me.
District tryouts are now taking place across the country in multiple sporting disciplines as organizers prepare for the Super Nationals competition. And while medals and championships will be on the line, the bigger victory could come years later when more Belizean athletes step onto university campuses with scholarships in hand. Before we close, let's take a look at major victories this weekend. In football, Tutbe FC is your Belize district champion after a 2-1 victory over Cesar Ridge FC. Congratulations to the champions. The BEL Power Sockets are back on the throne for the Belize District Inter-Office Tournament after easily defeating the Police Teachers Enforcers squad. And in the Elite Co-ed League, it is a group of misfits and upstarts from the 1-2-3 Outcasts taking the trophy for a second year in a row. In basketball, the NEBL is heating up because of some major upsets this weekend. On Friday, the Belmopan Trojans defeated the San Pedro Tiger Sharks. On Saturday, the Dangriga Dream Ballers upset the Orange Walk Running Rebels. And in Belize City, the defenders barely survived against the Cayo Western Ballers. Heading into the last 2 weeks of the season, Two teams have already punched their tickets to the playoffs, Defenders and Running Rebels, while Griga, San Pedro, and Cayo are fighting for the final two spots. Seedings are still up in the air and the ball can bounce anywhere.
Well, that's all we have for you this week, folks. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shane Williams reminding you that friendly competition unite and balling is life. So keep balling, Belize.
Before we leave you, here's tonight's viewer's voice. On our first story, Call Them Out. Belize renews call for sex offender registry, Karen M. Hulse commented. Before we even begin discussing a registry, we cannot ignore the reality that most offenses against children are committed by someone they know. Even more troubling is that, in many cases, the abuser is a family member, and other relatives are aware of the abuse yet choose to stay silent. So, what do we do in those situations? A registry alone cannot protect a child from an abuser who has constant access to them. Turning to motorcycle riders remain Belize's most vulnerable road users. Elena shared. So, does it have to be on the head or just in their hand, dangling down? Properly fastened or just falling off? So many times I had to abruptly brake because the helmet flew off of the cyclist and he swerved in front of me with no indication he is gonna swerve. So, what exactly does the law say about this helmet? Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the national conversation. Keep those comments coming and we'll continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.